a great day in the Heights. You ready, Johnny?
We're ready when you are.
All right. We'll go ahead and call our special meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It is 4:04. And if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Randy will give you the honors.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present in person, except Ms. Jackson, who is joining us by phone this evening. And we can begin with our local school improvement council presentation from Vinson Middle.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate you swapping your time and being here with us today. The members, what you have is a packet and it has all of the questions that you needed answered in order. So the members are listed for LSIC. Our enrollment report, we have 167 students, 90 female, 77 male, 37 students with IEPs.
Kim, when you first came here, what was the enrollment?
There was 220.
Yeah.
So if we look at some data, I wanted to start with math. This is the longitudinal data that I pulled yesterday, actually. And what I was looking at was a 5-year mark. These are the same students, and it looks at them for 5 years. What we are looking at is a little more red than we want. We want to move those students who are on urgent intervention and intervention up to on watch and above. Okay, so our math is what we are focused on this year, and we were focused on it last year. I have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. All three, 7th grade has reduced their urgent intervention to yellow, which is where we want to get a lot of our students, yellow to blue. 8th grade is about the same, but they have done a little bit better over the during their 8th grade year. But what we really want to see is a trend like our ELA. So if you turn the page and you look at our 6th grade ELA, normally when you have students go from 5th to 6th, there's usually some kind of bump that they actually go down. But in our 6th grade ELA, they have actually improved on getting those students from that urgent intervention up to partial mastery and mastery. And it's actually the same with our 6th grade ELA, 7th grade ELA, and our 8th grade ELA. So that is something that I'm really proud of, that we are seeing that trend from that COVID year, and that red line is going the correct way, and it is decreasing the way that we need it to. Do you have any questions about any of that progress?
Going in the right direction.
I think so. Our instructional reading level, 42% of students are at or above instructional reading level. That is for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 42%, we took the numbers yesterday. I was with Tanya Bowen because she was already here. And we took those numbers and came up with an average for all of our student body, and it was 42% of students are at their reading level or above. Something we've had an issue with that really started coming to light more last year than any other is the chronic absenteeism. We have 32% of our student population that is chronically absent. I can honestly say that is the highest we have ever had here at Vinson, and that's probably what bothers me the most. As much as we reach out to these kids, our interventions, not just the daily calls, but we have an on-site social worker, Misty Lambert, who is always, she will do home visits weekly and calls along with our secretary, Miss Bowen. They will both call all through the week. We have a Striper 5 weekly awards like most other schools. We give away gift cards every Friday to students who have not missed any school that week. The Lewis Foundation and our 6-week rewards, that attendance is filtered into who is able to go based on how many days you miss, discipline, and your academics. We have a homeroom winner each month, where the homeroom with the highest percent attendance, they get their own treat once a month that's brought into them. Our student of the month is also based on attendance. They get a gift card to Camden Corner. And then we have an end of the year attendance celebration, where we are hoping that students with less than 10 days who have missed, that are excused, can participate in that end of the year celebration. With so many things that we do to try to get students here at school, it is still shocking to me that it's 32% chronically absent. We have several students that we literally pull 2 or 3 times a week and have one-on-one discussions with them about their attendance, because these are the students that are going to be on the court docket. And those are the ones that we are trying our best to get to school, so they are not going to have those consequences that they're headed toward. And it can be very difficult.
Yeah, and you're not the only school that struggles with that. That's something I don't really talk about much in meetings. It still surprises me when I see that. And it was centuries ago that I was in elementary school, and I guess I should thank my mother. I never missed school. Unless I was really sick.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. And we, I'm not sure. I know Terry Lynn and I and Mr. Alexander, we've all had this conversation so many times. It isn't just one thing. It's this compilation of all of these different factors that have kind of hit us in the last 4 or 5 years, that's causing these attendance issues, whether it be just, we have a lot of grandparents who do raise their grandchildren, things, and it isn't just that. It's a mindset, I think, and it's just several different factors. It's difficult to overcome for us this year. So,
what was interesting, I was reading an article. It's a state thing, it's a national thing, but then I was reading an article about 2 weeks ago. Great Britain is having the same kind of conversations about chronic absenteeism, and that since the pandemic, they've had a difficult time getting students back in school for regular attendance. And a lot of that article talked about things that are talked about here in relation to chronic absenteeism. That they had interesting terms for it. That they identify students as school reluctant, that type of thing. But they were facing the same issues with just having kids that just did not want to be in school.
It's almost in some of the kids, it's there has been something flipped in their mind, and it's almost like a brick wall. Honestly, it's quite shocking when I'm not sure, but it is, like you said, they are reluctant, and you cannot change their mindset. And it's very, can be very disturbing, and that's why you get 32% of chronically absent students, in a building with 167 kids. And as much as we do, as you know, I consider us a smaller school, smaller middle school, and as much as we do, and these amazing connections we make with these kids on a daily basis, we are still struggling like this. So, yeah.
Can I ask you one quick, because Todd early on asked you how many students were here when you came here.
Yes.
How long ago was it?
8 years.
8 years. Yeah.
So in 8 years, you've gone from 200 something.
Yes, it would stay around 220, 230. And now this is where we're at. Yeah. We always stayed around there for probably the first 4 years I was here. I would think it was pretty good attendance, and then it just kept falling off. Yeah. So our discipline, if you turn to the next page, we've had 26 suspensions this year. Those are out of school suspensions, out of environment. Those are 20 kids. 20 kids have been suspended, adding up to 26 times. 4 of those students have IEPs, and they have, I think the total was 20 days. Those 4 students had missed school. We have changed some of our policies, especially regarding things like nicotine in the schools. In our school, suspending a student out of this environment, I do not like to do that, especially a student who may already have attendance problems. You send them home, and that really does nothing. So we have kind of altered our discipline policy with suspensions as far as vapes and things like that go. In my opinion, what I've seen, that doesn't work if you suspend kids for that. Violence is something that we do suspend kids for. Any type of aggression, physical aggression towards students or staff, that is something that we would suspend for. There are 3 of these students who were suspended who had behavior plans that we started, and they are tailored just for those 2 students. These are students that do not have IEPs. But in order to try to get them on track, we did create their own behavior plan, and there are certain things that they follow. When that is not followed, and of course parents and guardians are aware, then they would be suspended for repeatedly having those behaviors when they are just repeating.
So I attribute a lot of the change to changing demographics from the small.
I think that is definitely possible. I did not grow.
City moved down here.
Yeah, we do get several kids from Central City. I do not have an issue with bringing in kids from other counties whatsoever. Those kids are my job as much as anyone else's. I didn't grow up in Westmoreland, but I can just say that the people that I work with who did grow up in Westmoreland, they are the ones that have said, there's a change in the climate in this area. And that could absolutely be one of the attributing factors to having some of these discipline issues that we see. Yeah. Do you all have any questions for me before I hand it over? Juanita, are you awake?
Yes, I am, thank you.
I was just checking. Sorry, I didn't get to see your pretty face.
Oh, thank you. I'm still kind of in that twilight sleep,
If you don't have any more questions, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hayton. She has given you a list of things that we have discussed. The 2 of us have discussed at length several times over the past few years, and I'm going to let her kind of go over that with you just real quick.
Well, it's me again. Asking for some outside athletic help. I put I put the stuff that was left on there from last time. Put some pictures on there of the fencing, the gates, the broken edges. Down by baseball, it's leaning so much. I don't know if a strong wind might flip it over, except for the concrete's real good down there. And then there's a part of down by the football locker room, that gate there at the end is broken. We cannot get it to latch. So it's just open all the time. We can't get it to lock. Sometimes I'll just be down there and then the gate's open. So clearly somebody's been in there doing something. So it's just like that mechanism that closes down. It's just stuck. So I don't know. It needs some love, but the fencing in a hole is just in really bad shape. And I think it may have been 2 years ago now, we had gotten the latest quote for a fence. We quoted everything inside and outside. Obviously the outside's going to, if we only do the outside, that'll be cheaper. That's the part that looks the worst and is kind of safety issues if kids climb up on the fence or anything like that. The football press box, we have some issues with that. That fascia on the side is still missing. We're worried with the weather that it's going to get rot in there. And then later last week, I went to get the microphone out of the press box, and when you step right into the door, the floor gives way. So like those boards are, getting rotten. I don't know whether it's the roof's leaking, if it's coming under the door or what, but I can see that would be a big save. If somebody falls from that press box, that's not going to be good. Yeah. But that is the only building that we didn't get a metal roof on when the youth league was putting the metal roofs on the buildings. We didn't get it on that. So I think it would be wise to get somebody up there. I know some shingles have came off with the storms, so just to get up there and see really what it looks like. There might not be hardly any left, or but definitely that fascia and stuff, because birds get in there, animals, and of course the rain. But I don't want anybody to fall. So when they replace the step treads, it goes like 4 or 5 steps, and then there's a landing before it goes into the press box. Those didn't get replaced, the landing part. So they seem okay, and maybe that's why they didn't. But then it leads into there. If you look on like the last pages, you can see I took pictures of the floor. But right when you step where that nail's at, it kind of gives way those boards.
So it's on the inside?
Yes,
And is it locked?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have keys here?
Yes, sir.
I sent that to Kim. I was like, I don't want somebody to
Yeah,
fall
I'm
through.
like, well, stay off of it, please.
Yeah. And just so you know, we are raising money to get a new sound system there, because right now we have to take these ginormously heavy speakers and carry them out and back. So I would like the sound system people wanted to mount the speakers on top of the press box. They're weather resistant, but I don't want to do that until we get a new roof.
Right. And we don't want to put in all that money we're trying to buy this system with, and put it on something that isn't solid. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like $5,600
Yeah.
for a new sound system. So, I don't know if you guys remember when you guys painted here before. They painted these 3 light poles on this side of the field, but only halfway up, and didn't paint the light poles on the other side of the field. And Brian says those are good, solid, but they do need painted so the weather doesn't deteriorate them. Yeah.
I did not understand that, because we were like, what?
I was like,
I said,
I
I
don't
don't assuming
understand.
they're coming back. They have to come back. They wouldn't just leave them.
but another thing about painting was they used flat paint on all those buildings rather than an oil-based paint on the outside. So like the doors, you can notice when you drive by, like they're turning pink from the sun. It's the weirdest thing. So
Where's your pink ones of the Vinson?
yeah, it's just like in between an orange and a pinkish color. I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening? Now I don't know if it's just because they're steel doors, because of the paint they used, because it wasn't oil based. I'm not a painter, but it used to have oil based paint on it. So that might be something we need to look at, redoing those doors at least. And then you guys had updated the outside of the baseball press box, and it looks nice and everything. I just put it on there. I didn't know if we were doing anything to the inside.
Is there any specific request for the inside?
Well, it's just open 2x4s and like a piece of wood on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's not nailed down, but I just didn't know if it put walls out. I don't know. It's nothing urgent, but you know, it doesn't look very nice.
Right, paint it out.
Yeah. No, it looks like a shack in the inside, as nice as it looks on the outside. And then our backstop netting still needs repaired. We have the wire and stuff, and I thought they were going to come at the beginning of the season. They had talked to Brian, but they must have got backed up somewhere. But that just still needs done. We just don't have the equipment to get up there to do it.
Yeah.
We have the wire to do it.
We just don't have the lift.
Okay.
I'm not tall enough.
I get that.
And then there are old locker room bleachers, behind the bleachers, a locker room that the high school used to use. And where it's connected to the bleachers, it's leaking.
And
And the
I think
ceiling's
Mr.
falling.
Alexander was able to see that at a couple, I don't know, a few months ago or something, Mr. Hart.
Well,
I think he had finally seen that room that we were talking about. It's on the back of
So that it's all sealed up, correct? I think they came down and put a door, or they came down and sealed it up where nobody could get back in there.
They did seal where the water and stuff is, yes. But where the locker room is. So like there's a little room that just has a bunch of junk and broken toilets and all kinds of things. But then there's
People have thrown all kinds of
all
trash
kinds of
in there.
crazy
Yes.
stuff. But the turnoff valve for the water to the field is in that. So if we need to turn that off, like they just put metal and bolted that. So
Right.
I don't know how we can get in there. I don't know how you would get back in there to turn, if we needed to turn that water off. Now we can go out on the street and turn it off with a water key.
But it's no longer used at all. So if it disappeared, you all would be okay with that?
That locker room, yeah.
Yes.
The youth
Yeah.
league, when Brian and I
It was
were with
years
the
ago
youth league,
now.
we used that. We
Yeah,
used
with
it
the little
for
kids.
everything, equipment,
Because it
everything.
wasn't in that bad a shape.
Yeah.
I was in there and it wasn't.
But yeah, the ceiling's falling down,
It is
like,
dangerous.
and it's leaking water, so they quit using it. But yeah, it could go away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, you know our situation with our bleachers. I just left that on there. I think I didn't talk about the end of the concession stand of the football. Like there's some fascia and stuff missing there. There's a ginormous bird's nest right in there now.
Where is that building?
It's
The football.
so as soon as you walk in,
concession stand,
the
yes.
football concession stand.
Yeah.
Where the picnic tables are
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side on the end, it's open. So that would be a very easy fix. And you know, the youth league used to do a lot. Had a lot of people, had a lot of funds. And
They really did.
So
They,
we
they
would
did
just-
a lot the first few years
Oh,
I
yeah.
was here. They were very generous and they were able to do a lot. But again,
The
that's
clientele
kind
has
of,
changed.
it has. It's different. It's different. So, yeah.
I don't think they have the manpower to do the extra, do the stuff for the kids, and the facilities are just kind of do your basics, but not any upgrades or anything.
Now, facility wise, as far as things we were able to get done in the past year, you got new windows,
Yes,
you got new blinds,
new HVAC,
New-
windows,
new HVAC in
blinds.
the building.
Yes.
we put the roof on the band room.
Yes.
We repaired the roof out by the gymnasium.
Yes, I was
Yes.
going to say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we repaired the baseball press box on the
On the
outside,
outside,
what
yeah,
you were
on the
talking
outside,
about,
yes.
and replaced the steps to it.
Yes.
And then I think they did some additional bracing for the football and the steps that go up to it. Was there anything else?
No, I don't think so. We do love the windows. They're very nice. The blinds are, thank you, very nice. That's been.
It's
that's
nice
been
when they
great.
match.
Oh my goodness, it's a wonder. It makes me feel very nice.
Right.
And then, of course, we turned in a major improvement project. This was one of the sites that we were going to put a safe school entry in. So before you leave, I'll show you kind of what we were looking at doing.
Oh, good.
And we submitted that, so we'll get a decision on that in June. And of course, it's a grant, so it might not come
Right.
through.
Oh, I
But
was going to ask that.
yeah, we're looking to do a separate entry here.
Yes. Where the copy room is, they will remodel that to a new entryway
For the parents.
for, yes. So,
Anything else facility wise?
My custodians do a fantastic
They
job.
do a
I don't know what I
fantastic
would
job.
do
The hallways look
without
great.
Robert and Elgin and, Steve, and I'm very fortunate with my entire staff. I've said that so many times. It really all comes back to them. Yeah. Yeah. They're fantastic.
On the back on your that you're getting the support from our specialists that you need, Kelly. And
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think Kelly is fantastic. She is helping us now with one of our teachers coming in and staying the day with her, and that is above and beyond for Kelly.
Right.
Like she does not have to do that, and she's doing that because it's for the betterment of the kids, and she's doing a fantastic job. Yeah. And Miss Tanya Bowen coming in, wonderful collaborator. She is always full of great ideas, helping out with Will, helping me handle Will, no. But helps out with, talking to Will and I about things that we can do, and she's fantastic. Yeah. She is. Those girls are a big help, for sure. And my master teacher, who, I love that program because, wow, she really goes above and beyond getting everything ready for any new teacher, making the books and things. She's fantastic. So, yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think what he said about his parents, thinking his parents and these kids being absent, is the lack of parenting these days. The parents are nonchalant about them coming to school. We see it in sports even. Well, Johnny's not coming to practice today. Yeah, it's like, why isn't Johnny coming to practice? So I think that goes right back to the generation of parenting that's coming through the world.
Yes, I never miss school. I mean, we would literally get on the bus in 3 inches of snow, and Mom would say, "They have not canceled yet. Get on the bus." And I'm like, and then we would come back home. But we would go if the bus went by. I was on that bus, regardless of the weather.
Unrelated.
A little 2-room wooden schoolhouse up towards, but I can't really, I sit here thinking about it. Hardly any kids ever miss back.
Yeah, No one had attendance problem. I don't remember anyone having attendance problems. That was never
I grew up in Mason
an
County
issue.
and went to school there, and we had, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Jerry's Run Road, it's just a curvy. So there was a big slide of where the road caved in. The bus would stop, students had to get off and walk past this thing. The bus came across, and then we got back on.
Yeah.
We didn't miss school.
That's funny.
It's just different nowadays. It just really is.
It's crazy. All right,
Okay, I think we're good. We want to head to Spring Valley.
that's it. I just need a motion to recess.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Randy, second by Dennis. Sorry, Johnny, you were sleeping.
Okay, that's
Snooze
okay.
you lose.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are you in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It is 4:35.
Johnita will call you from Spring Valley.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we appreciate it. Everything you do for us.
Those online will start a separate feed at Spring Valley in about 20 minutes.